morning, my dear students. How are you all? I hope you all are doing great and are absolutely fine. So students, today I welcome you all in this English class where we are going to learn something new and something very interesting. So let's begin. So here, as you all can see, alright. So this is a poem which is writing on here. Alright. So what we are going to do, we are going to do is to study and to learn this poem very carefully. Okay. So all of you students, please read this poem carefully, because after that we'll do exercise regarding to this poem. Alright. So the example one is, the poem is, alright. Let's begin. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkling in the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a way. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their head in sprightly dance. The wave beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a John's company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what will the show to me had brought. For often, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. Alright? Now here, first reading. So when we doing or reading a poem, so what we are going to do is, so first when we read a poem, so what we are going to do first identify the narrator or the character of the poem. Alright, so what we are going to do when we are studying and reading about a poem or reading a poem. Alright, so first thing that we do is to identify the narrator or the character of the poem. Alright, the second thing is identify the setting and theme. Alright, identify the setting and the theme of the poem. Alright, so when you are reading the poem, so what we are going to do, is first we have to identify the narrator or the character, that what is poem is all about, and second is identify the theme of the poem and setting of the poem. Alright, what the poet mood is this happy or is sad, or this is about his feeling. Alright. Second reading. In second reading, what we are going to do is identify the keywords. Alright. So what we are going to do is we have to identify the keywords of the poem. Second, identify the rhyming words. Alright. What we are going to do is we have to identify the rhyming words of the poem. There is some rhyming words which we have to identify. Then after that, identify the mood of the poet. Alright. Identify the mood of the poet. Alright. Or and last, identify the figure of speech. Alright, so last is identify the figure of speech in the poem. Clear? So these are some 1 2 3 4 5 6 points are there which you have to keep in your mind when you are reading the poem. Alright, and finally mainly thing is when we are reading the poetry comprehensions. Alright, so to identify the answer or to know about the answers of the poem or the question which you are regarding to the poem, is that you have to keep in your mind these 6 points. Alright, first identify the narrator or the character of the poem. Second, identify the setting or theme of the poem. Third, identify the keywords of the poem. Fourth, identify the rhyming words of the poem. And fourth is identify the mood of the poem. is poet is happy, or poet whatever the mood of poem is. So the thing is, this poet writing this poem in a happy mood or in a sad mood, or whatever the feeling he have on that when he writing a poem. All right, and last thing, identify the figure of speech in the poem. All right, so these are some 6 points are there which you have to keep in your mind while you are answering the questions asking from the poem. Clear? Okay, let's move forward now. Now here are some glossaries, which is the hard words in the poem. Let's find out the meaning of these hard words. So first is, I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. See here, trees and beards are the rhyming words of this poem, of this paragraph of this poem. All right, let's find out the host. What is the meaning of host? Host means group. All right, the meaning of host in this paragraph or for this poem is group. All right, what is the meaning of fluttering? Is flapping wings. All right, what is the meaning of fluttering? Fluttering means flapping wings. You can write down in your copies as well. Clear? So these are glossary, means some difficult words that comes in the poem or comes in the paragraph, and we have to identify the meaning of these words, these hard words. Clear? So these are the host means group, and fluttering means flapping wings. Now the second para is, the waves beside them dance, but they outdid the sprawling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkling in the Milky Way, they stretch in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their head in sprightly dance. In vacant or in pensive mode, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dance with the daffodils. Let's find out these hard words with their meanings. Alright, so first is jocund, tossing, sprightly and pensive. Let's find out the meaning of these words. Okay, tossing means moving. Tossing means moving. This word. Okay, tossing means moving. Sprightly means, this word is sprightly. Sprightly means lively. After that, jocund. You see this word meaning is happy. And last is pensive. Pensive means thoughtful. Okay, let's move forward now. So poetry comprehension. So today what we are going to study about is all about poetry comprehensions. All right, so these are some 6 points which I have, which I ask you about. When you writing a poem or when you reading a poem, you have to keep 6 points in your mind, that what it should be. First, you have to identify the character or the narrator of the poem, then the setting or the theme of the poem, then the mood of the poem, keywords of the poem, and something like that. All right, so when we reading a poem, to know the answers of the questions of the poem, so we have to remember, kept in your mind these 6 points. All right, so this is what we call the poetry comprehension, where we have to find the answer from the poem. All right, now let's do the exercise. The poet saw daffodils in the vale, on a hill, on lakeside, among the stars. Alright, if you're reading a poem, that poem very carefully, then you have to give this answer of this question. Alright, the poet saw daffodils. First is in the vale, second on a hill, third on lakeside, fourth among the stars. What would you answer? Third, on a lakeside. Alright, so on lakeside is the right answer. The bliss of solitude refers to, first daffodils, second the inward eye, third the waves, and the fourth is the stars. What would be your answer? The answer would be the invert I. Alright. The bliss of solitude refers to the invert I. Clear? What is the similarity between the cloud and the poet? This is the question. What is the similarity between the cloud and the poet? The answer is, the similarity between the cloud and the poet is that both of them move on aimlessly without any company. Alright. Why poet is happy? And what is the similarity between the cloud and the poet? The similarity between the cloud and the poet is that both of them move on aimlessly without any company. Alright. Why was the poet happy? Now, why was the poet happy? The answer is, the poet was happy because there was happiness all around. Why poet is happy? Because there was happy all around. Happiness all around. How were the waves seems to be? The waves seems to be less happy than the daffodils. Poetry passages for reading comprehension helps to collect knowledge about various aspects of poetry such as. Alright, let's find out about the poetry comprehension. What is poetry comprehension? Alright, so poetry passages for reading comprehensions helps to collect knowledge about various aspects of poetry such as literary devices. First is, please remember that poetry comprehension gives knowledge about various aspects of poetry such as literary devices. Second, reading between the lines. What? Reading between the lines. Third thing is comprehending the philosophy and attitude of the poet that may include self-experience and feelings. So, the point which I told you that you have to keep in your mind 6 points. In 6.1 point is there, you find the identify the mood of the poem. So mood of the poem meaning is that the poem may include self experience and feeling. Alright, when he writing some poem. Alright, so he have to, and he has include self experience in that poem or feeling of that poem, feel of his feeling in that poem. So that is why I told you that you have to identify the mood of the poem. Alright, clear? Let's move forward, and this is the first question of this session. You have to answer. Choose the correct option. The sentences beside the lake beneath the trees. Alright, beside the lake beneath the trees, this is the one line from the poem. The line represent the poetic device: A. Metaphor, B. Smile, C. Personification, D. Alliteration. Your time starts now. You have to choose one among these four. Okay students, time is up. So here the answer is beside the lake beneath the trees. The line represent the poetic device D. Alliteration. Alright, this line describe about alliteration. Alright, poetic device is what? Alliteration. Clear? So answer is option D, alliteration. Figure of speech. Now let's understand among 6 points there is one point who's told about us that we have to identify the figure of speech in the poem. So let's find out. I wandered lonely as a cloud. Figure of speech is what? A direct comprehension, comparison. Okay, a direct compare. I wandered lonely as a cloud. So this is the direct comprehension, comparison. It is called smile. Alright, so smile means a direct comparison. I wandered only as a cloud. beside the lake beneath the trees and dances with the daffodils. What is the figure of speech in this? Let's find out. Alliteration means 10,000. Alright. An exaggerated expression. 10,000 means an exaggerated expression. Hyperbole. What we called it as hyperbole. Fluttering and dancing in the breeze. This is the attributing human qualities. What it is expressing? It is expressing attributing of human qualities. Alright. Telling about the qualities of somebody or someone, we have to call it as a personification. Again, a second question for you all. Choose the correct option. In the poem Daffodils, the poet was happy because A. There was happiness all around. B. He met his old friend. C. He saw the daffodils. D. He saw a beautiful lake. Alright, your time starts now. In the poem Daffodils, the poet was happy because there was happiness all around. He met his old friend. He saw the daffodils. He saw a beautiful lake. Alright students, time is up. So let's find out the answer. So first we have to look in the question. Alright. In the poem Daffodils, the poet was happy because option 1, there was happiness all around. As we read, when we reading this poem daffodils, about daffodils, so why poet is happy? Because there is happiness all around. So option A here is the correct option. Alright. Let's move forward now. Now this is the another example of the poem. Let's find out the next poem. Alright. Holy Thursday, William Blake. So this is the poem. This is the name of this poem, Holy Thursday, and he is the writer and he is the poet of this poem. Alright. So William Blake. Let's find out and let's read this poem. Is this a holy thing to see in a rich and fruitful land? Babes reduced to misery, fed with cold and unurious hand. Is that trembling cry a song? Can it be a song of joy? And so many children poor, it is a land of poverty. And their sun does never shine, and their fields are bleak and bare. And their was are filled with thorns, it is eternal winter there. For where the sun does shine, and where the rain does fall, babe can never hunger there, nor poverty the mind appall. Holy Thursday, William Blake is the poet of this poem, and Holy Thursday is the main heading of this poem. Is this a holy thing to see in a rich and fruitful land, babes reduced to misery, fed with cold and usurious hand? And their sun does never shine, and their fields are bleak and bare, and their ways are filled with thorns, it is eternal winter there. For where the sun does shine, and where the rain does fall, babe can never hunger there, nor poverty the mind appall. So these are some words are there which we have to identify the meaning of these words. Let's find out. Okay, so this is the glossary, and what is the meaning of glossary? When we find out the hard meaning of hard words. Alright, so let's find out. Okay, so these are some words which are as follows: cold, appall, eternal and unserious. What is the meaning of these words? Cold means unfeeling. Alright, so cold means here is unfeeling. See here. Apple means horrify or great dismay. Alright, what is the meaning of apple here? See this point, this word. So what is the meaning of this word? Apple means horrify or great dismay. Eternal, this word, what is the meaning of this word? Eternal means permanent. Alright, eternal means permanent. And what is the meaning of this word? And serious means miserly. Clear? So these are some hard words which we have meaning of these words. So I hope now you know the meaning of these words. Let's move forward, and again a question for you all. Choose which one of the following is an important aspect of poetry. Alright. First, a lyrics. Second, poet. C, literary devices. And D, memorizing poem. Alright. Your time starts now. Very simple question. Choose which one of the following is an important aspect of poetry. Alright students, time is up. As I already told you when we talk about poetry comprehension, that poetry comprehension is all about you have to remember some points, in which one point is there which is literally devices. The first point is there which is the literally devices. So choose which one of the following is an important aspect of poetry or poetry comprehension is that option C, literary devices. Alright, so option C here is the right answer. Let's move forward. Exercise. Now we have to do some exercise from this poem. Alright, the sign of a rich country is, the sign of a rich country is A, its rich lands, B, the rich people, C, the fruitful land, and fourth, the happy childrens. Your tell me which one. If you reading the poem very carefully, you have to know the answer of this question. The sign of a rich country is A, its rich land, B, the rich people, C, the fruitful land, and D, the happy children. What would be your answer? The answer would be the fruitful land, as it mentioned in the poem itself. Alright. Now the second question means, what is the meaning of fruitful land means? Fruitful land means, in the poem fruitful land means what? The options are the land full of fruits, B, fertile land, C, the land where fruit grows, and fourth is the fruit garden. What would be your answer? Let's find out the answer. So the answer is fertile land. So here in the poem there is word used, that is fruitful land. What is the meaning of fruitful land in the poem is the fertile land. The poem talk about fertile land in the poem. Alright, let's move forward. What does the poet speak about in the poem? If you students clearly or sincerely reading the poem, so you know the answer of this question. What does the poet speak about in the poem? Okay, I give you 5 seconds for this question. What does the poet commented on? Let's find out the answer of this question. The poet comments on the song of the children. The poet comment on song of the children. Again, a question for you all. Fill in the blank with the correct option. The poet speak about dash in the poem Holy Thursday. Alright, your question is, the poet speak about dash in the poem Holy Thursday. Your options are A, poor babies, B, poor animals, C, rich kids, D, misses. Your time starts now. Very simple question. I hope everyone know the answer now. Okay students, time is up. So the question is, let's see the question first. The poetry speak about dash in the poem Holy Thursday. So there is a poem Holy Thursday. William Blake is the poet, and the William Blake in his poem Holy Thursday, he speak about poor babies in the poem. Alright, as you already know the answer, the poor babies is the right answer. Alright, so option A here is the right answer. Let's move forward. Okay, now here these some slides are there, and according to them there are some poem which has written, alright, which has been written. So let's look at this. So first is, it takes much time to kill a tree, not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its skirts, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide sprouting leaves. This is the one poem. Okay, this is the first poem according to this image. Okay, alright. Now the second image is that, and the poem is about continuous as the stars that shine and twinkling in the Milky Way. They stretch in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I ate a glance, tossing their head in sprightly dance. Alright. Consider these two extract. Okay, consider these two extract whatever the images is. Which among these two is the appropriate poem in context to the animation shown? Alright, whatever the animation has been shown, you have to answer this question according to that image. Alright, so first is, which among these two is the appropriate poem in context to the animation shown? And the second question is, give an appropriate title of the poem you consider is suitable as per extract. Alright. Okay. According to these two, I have shown you again. So this is the first image, first animation, this is the second animation. So you have to answer which among these two is the correct poem for these images, and second is you have to identify, or you have to answer the correct heading for this poem. Alright. Which among these two is the appropriate poem in context to the animation shown? Give an appropriate title of the poem you consider is suitable as per the extract. Okay, again the question for you all. The word pensive means, alright, there is the word pensive comes, what would that mean is, alright, the word pensive means is A. Listener, B. Thought, C. Happy, D. Life. Okay, your time starts now. We already done glossary for this word. I hope everyone remember that. In starting, I have told you in the starting when we starting this session. All right, pensive means. Alright, so pensive means is what? Pensive means is thoughtful. Alright, so the option B here is the correct option. Okay, now let's understand the summary of this session. Poem comprehension. So what we are going to study today, in this session is all about poetry comprehension. Alright, what are poetry comprehension and what are poetry comprehension is all about. So let's find out. So poetry comprehension can be helpful in making it easy to understand the complex idea of poetry. It helps to understand the emotions, literally expressions that captures inner feelings and experience in a lyrical representation or presentation. Clear? Again, a question for you all. So this is the last question for you all right. How do you feel? How you like this class? A. Happy. B. Quite good. C. Satisfactory. D. Confused. Class, your time starts now. Okay students, thank you so much. Time is up. I hope you like this class. I hope you know what is comprehension, poetry comprehension, and what is the poetry comprehension is all about. So in exams, when when the examiner asked about the poetry comprehension, there are some questions which gives from the unseen poetry. All right, so how we answer them in a correct way? First, there are 6 points you have to keep in your mind while you are reading the comprehension or poetry comprehension, and you have to answer the question that has been asking from that poem. All right, so the first point is that you have to understand the narrator and the character of the poem. Second point is that you have to understand the setting and theme of the poem. All right, third is that you have to understand figure of speech of the poem. Fourth one is you have to understand the mode of the poem. Then you have to identify the keywords of the poem, and sixth point is you have to remember the rhyming words of the poem. So these words and these are some points you have to keep in your mind while you are reading the poem. All right, only then you can answer the question that has been asking from the poem very nicely and very carefully. All right, so this is all for today's class. That is all for today's class. I hope you like this class. All right, so we'll meet in the next class. All right, with the new topic. Till then, bye bye, take care and have a good day.